Good morning, Champion School of Real Estate. This is so much fun to see you all today and to say hello. I'm Rita Santa Maria. I'm the founder, CEO of Champion School of Real Estate, and I thank you for your business. We always appreciate your choosing to be a champion, and I have a champion with me today, B. Flores. Good morning, B. How are you?
Great.
B is one of our instructors. She has been teaching for Champion School of Real Estate 7 years. Thank you so much. Time has flown by. She often teaches the live virtual class, and B's also been in real estate for 17 years, I think. And I'm really happy to be able to talk with her today because she's doing what a lot of you would like to do. And that is go from agent to broker to opening your own business. So B has opened Lux Living Group, and she's going to talk with us about that in a little bit. But right away, I just want to say to B. Flores, thank you for being an amazing teacher.
Thank you.
Our students love her. What is your favorite subject to teach?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. I think probably promulgated forms and agency are my two top
Okay. So why promulgated forms?
because it's what we go through every day.
It's what we do every day. Filling out the contracts, knowing the right way to do that, whether it's a residential home, farm and ranch, empty lot. Exactly. And our students love it too because it's a lot of hands-on with
Exactly.
that.
Yes.
And then how does agency work into the marketplace? And what is it about agency that you love?
So, what I love about agency is that it's the relationships that we have with our clients. And I believe that agency is so important because it reminds us of what our responsibilities are. I feel like sometimes we forget. We kind of
Mhm.
get busy every day and we deal with so many people that it's easy to forget. So agency kind of reminds us what it is that we're there
That
to
we're
do.
supposed to do.
Mhm.
I want to let everybody know we will have certainly the interview on our Champions YouTube tomorrow, if not late this afternoon. And the notes that you'll be taking today, please get out paper, pen, iPad, laptop. Take good notes, but also you'll be able to see it again on YouTube, the Champions YouTube channel. But also, we are so happy to have our Real Estate Superstars Today podcast channel. And with the podcast channel, obviously you can drive around town, listen to wonderful interviews from our superstars giving you their tips to success. I want you to know that we're on Spotify. We also are on iHeart and as well on Google Podcasts. So next week or the end of this week, you can certainly hear the interview again with B. Flores on podcast or as well on our YouTube channel. And before we go a little further, I just want to let our students know that we were so honored last week to have Dr. Gaines from the Texas Real Estate Research Center give us the mid-year update. So on podcast tomorrow, Wednesday, you will be able to go in and hear Dr. Gaines give us the mid-year 2022 market update. And I think, first of all, agents, new people, you're going to be so happy. It's all still good news. Last year was our best year ever. We're down just a tiny bit, but as he said, that tiny bit still means we're in great shape. So it's all good. And that's on our Real Estate Superstars Today podcast channel with Dr. Gaines. So, B. Flores, how did you start out in real estate? What motivated you to go into real estate?
Well, it's funny because I kind of feel like I've gone full circle because I started my real estate career as a recruiter. I worked for a group of Century 21 offices here in Houston, and I didn't have a real estate license. My job was to go talk to students at Champion School of Real Estate
Yay.
about the opportunity with that company. And I did that for a couple of years. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I felt like, well, why am I not getting my real estate license?
Exactly.
And my mentor at the time, told me, you need to go get your license. And she actually paid for me to take my classes. So I'm very
That
grateful
was
for her.
nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you were a recruiter
Mhm.
and you're trying to recruit people to a company. And so you're thinking, well, why am I not doing this? And that
Exactly.
was 17 years ago. We have people from all walks of life. We have people that have saved all their money to go to real estate school and change their career, whether it's in real estate, loan appraisal, inspection. And then we have those that got laid off yesterday and they can start classes like the next day, right away, make that career change in a short time. You're doing and you've done what a lot of our students and friends are sitting right now, listening, watching, are thinking, I would like to start and own my own business. Give us, from your perspective, what were the stepping stones to become your own company?
Well, I've been in the business for 17 years and I've been at every aspect of the real estate business. I was an agent, I managed an office, I trained agents, I coached, I did everything. And so it finally came to the point where I was like, well, why not do this for myself? Why not have a legacy that I can leave for my family by building a real estate company? And I think that helped me, all my experience helped me to get to that point.
Absolutely.
I definitely don't think that right out of the gate I could have been able to do it, but just the experience, the knowledge that I gained kind of led me to the things
To
that I
those
needed to do.
steps. Was there a defining moment that made you just literally pull the trigger and go forward?
Yeah, I was with a wonderful company, but they were transitioning. They weren't sure if they were going to merge with somebody else. And that was the defining moment because I felt like I wanted to be in control of my own destiny instead of having someone control it for me. And so I decided to do it.
Well, that makes so much sense, and it's truly a motivating factor for so many people. You want to be the one at the end of the year to pat your shoulder and say, "I did it." And when you're your own boss, you get to do that.
Right.
But starting out with your own company, there are so many decisions to be made. One being, where do I locate my company? So, how did you decide to make that decision on location?
Well, we actually started out of my home office,
Literally home.
literally at home. I started out with 3 agents that followed me from the company I was with before, and, they would come to my house, and literally they were there at 7 in the morning, and we would make calls together, and we would, prospect, and, one of them wouldn't leave till 9 o'clock at night, and my husband finally said, "Okay, I think we need to find an office."
Your story is very typical of a lot of people opening their office.
Mhm.
You can have your office at home. It's totally legitimate. It's a good way to get started, not have a lot of overhead to worry about. And yet, when that agent doesn't leave at 9 o'clock at night, it's time to say, oh, maybe we need a new plan.
Right.
But at the same time, you also have your daughter in your business. How did that happen?
My daughter has been in my business or in real estate for
I
since she
was
was
going to say,
16.
she's probably been in your business your entire life.
She's been in real estate for since she was 16.
Man,
She was a receptionist at a real estate office that I worked at. And then she became an administrator at another office, but she never got her license. And recently she decided that she was going to go ahead and get her license. And it's been challenging because I feel like we put more pressure on our children. We expect more of them. But it's been awesome. It really has. Just, working with her every day, seeing her grow. I'm super proud of everything she's done. She's a go-getter. And I love it.
I love how your face is beaming as you talk about that. Kimberly Didelowitz, the president of our company, who's been with Champions 24 years now in August. I can't believe it's been that long. But I always tell everyone when I'm asked that question, she's asked that question, what is it like to work in a family owned business? And the answer is you don't have it easy. You honestly are, in my mind and what I've observed, open to more criticism. So you must even do a better job. You absolutely must show up on time. You must not only abide by the company policies, but you also institute a lot of those policies.
You have to be an example.
And you have to be an example because people are looking at you all the time wondering, is this really legit? And absolutely, in my particular situation, Kimberly has added so much to our business dimension wise. And I know she works very hard. And then the other side of that is it's so much fun to have your family member in the business. And now we have David, youngest son, in the business and celebrating like a year and a half right now. And we just have to always demonstrate that we are devoting our very best to the company. So I know the position your daughter's in. So training her, what was that like? Did she listen to what her manager owner said and did she take it to heart? How did that work?
She does. I think that she she likes to just take off and she feels like she knows a lot. Um, and she does. She really does, but she likes to challenge me sometimes. And so that's kind of where we butt heads a little bit.
And you're saying, well, I have 17
Yeah.
years in the business and I know what's allowed me to get to this point.
Right.
So I'm so happy for you. I congratulate you. I know you relocated to the Houston sort of Central Medical Center just 2 years ago from Seabrook, which for those of you that aren't that familiar with Texas, that's southern of Houston on the water, beautiful. And so that was another big move to move in the city versus down on the beautiful seaside. And that being said, did you do that to grow your business more, or did you just feel like you were ready for the city?
So, before starting my own brokerage, I was with a brokerage in town in the inner loop for 2 years. I was always with brokerages out on, the Clear Lake, Friendswood, League City, Seabrook, that area. And I decided to move to a broker in town, mostly because of Champions, because I was spending so much time teaching and I wanted to be close to the school. It made sense for me. And I wanted to learn a different market. And so that's what brought me to the city. And when I decided to start my brokerage, I just felt like there was so much more opportunity out here. And it just made sense to be closer to home or closer to the office.
Talking about making the change, moving to the city, having more opportunity, it tells me that you are a fearless warrior. Those were a lot of changes that many people would fear. Opening your own office, relocating your office, So let's talk about fear. We all have fears. We have fears about, will we have a closing this month or next month? We have fears that are on a personal side. How do you deal with fear on a business level?
It's challenging because there's always fear, especially in the time we live in today. I feel that, there's always uncertainty of what's happening, but I think that we control our own destiny and it's not what's happening around us, but what we do. And you have to have faith in yourself and your abilities and just be able to conquer the situation, and then that kind of helps you with your fear. I'm fearful all the time. I'm not as confident as I may portray, but I'm willing to work hard, and I think that's what's helped me. And I think that, especially for new people getting in the industry, I think that, having the support of your friends, your family, your colleagues is very helpful, but ultimately it's you and how you handle those situations.
I knew you were going to say you have fear all the time. I knew that because we all have fear all the time.
Mhm.
We may be, and you are such a successful agent, broker, and people look at successful companies, successful people, and they think, oh, I can't identify with them because I'm so worried. I'm so concerned. Can I do this? Will I be able to make ends meet? Every single agent, and there are thousands of them all over the US. Certainly, there are 178,000 in Texas alone, but we all have fear. And I want our students to know that fear is very common, but you need a plan.
Mhm.
You need to work the plan. And then I always have told myself, if it's to be, it's up to me. And don't rely on significant others, friends to build you up and make you feel like you can do it. You need to find that inner strength.
Absolutely.
And without question, education, education, education
Mhm.
makes you more confident.
Absolutely.
And yet, I just want our students to know fear is normal. You will be the most successful agent broker ever. You will still have fear.
Mhm.
Technology. You were one of our first instructors who really gravitated to live broadcast. Thank you for that. I always felt like our students would love being at home, but have a teacher.
Mhm.
And our students love you. You're a super instructor.
Thank you.
Tell us about technology in your business.
Mhm.
What do you use pretty much daily?
So technology is huge in real estate. It's very important. I think a CRM, having a good CRM, is going to be the best start, and something that's going to gravitate your business to the level you want it to be in. I've changed CRMs. I actually, when I first started my brokerage, I started with one CRM that I had used years ago. And I felt like, okay, this is great. It's got all the bells and whistles, but my agents weren't really using it because it was great, but it wasn't
Was it too
easy.
difficult?
It was too difficult. And so I did a lot of research this summer because my contract was going to be up with the company that I was using. And I what I did is I went out on Facebook, and I'm a part of groups with other brokers around the country.
Good.
And so I asked brokers and top agents, what is your favorite CRM and why? And so I took the top 5 and I started interviewing those companies, and I really did my research, and I feel like I've got a really good one now. And my agents have been using it. We've, been going through it, and we use it every day.
I'm going to ask you to describe to our students that are new, what is a CRM? What does it stand for?
It's a client, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
It's a client relationship management system.
And what do you do with a CRM?
So with our CRM, we actually I buy leads from not leads but marketing from Facebook ads. We do Google marketing. I do buy leads from Zillow, and so all of that is put into the CRM. It also has a website for each agent, and so people can come onto your website, or if they're searching for homes, this your website pops up, and so when someone goes in there, they're automatically put in the CRM, or you can add people yourself as you're meeting prospects, and it keeps up with them. It basically puts you in front of that person every day, and it gives you tasks that you need to do for prospecting. It lets you call from the CRM. You can send emails, videos, all kinds of forms of communication. And the key is to be in front of your clients and drive them to
Constantly.
your website. Yeah.
So I want to follow up with a couple of statements. One being, we have lots of chat going on right now, and people are wanting to know what CRM you like. I'm going to say that at the end of the program, what we always do is reply back to our students, and we'll give them a couple of lists of CRM companies. But my real statement is, when new people are out interviewing, be sure and ask that company, do you have a CRM? First of all, they're going to be impressed that you know CRM. And then secondly, it's a great question to ask. How much do I have to pay for it? Is the company paying for it? Those are great questions. But we absolutely need a program that keeps us in constant touch with buyers, sellers, prospects, because that's the business we're in. Okay, you have a great CRM program. You're using it often. Just a question I ask all of our top producers: how often do you touch your past clients so they don't forget about Bee Floras?
I have different ways of doing that. I have a magazine that goes out once every 2 months to my past clients, so they get that in the mail. They get to see my picture, my name. It's got things that they like, and then through the CRM, I reach out once a month.
Okay, once a month. That's
Mhm.
pretty good.
Mhm.
Actually, that's very good because it's realistic. Once a month is a wonderful point of time, because some agents do business with their clients, customers, and they don't even stay in touch,
Mhm.
because the number one reason NAR has found in their surveys that they do, that sellers, when they're ready to sell, don't reach out to that agent that helped them buy that home, is they never heard from them.
Exactly.
So students, you definitely need to stay in touch with your past clients. If I were to say, oh, every week I'm going to stay in touch, that wouldn't be realistic,
Right.
and I wouldn't follow up. Once a month is certainly a good plan. Let me ask you another question. How do you feel about personal coaches? Did you use a coach? Give us your feedback on that.
I think personal coaching is very important. And when I first started in my career, I did not use a coach. One of the reasons was I felt like it was expensive. And so I didn't feel like I could afford it at the time. But then as I went through my career, I realized that all the top producers were using coaches. And I learned that you have to invest in yourself. You have to invest in your business. And investing in a coach really can transform your business because you learn a lot of different things that you may not have known to do. And they hold you accountable to it. So it's not just about learning it, it's to have that accountability. And it does really change your business. So, to be successful, you have to invest in yourself. You have to invest in your education. You have to invest in things that are going to make you better for your client. And I believe that that's one of the things it does.
So many top producers use a coach or have used a coach.
Mhm.
And I asked that question because I pretty much guessed the answer. Coaches are expensive.
Mhm.
Starting out, your best coach will be the trainer in your company.
Mhm.
Your best coach will be your following through on what the trainer tells you need to do. But at some point, coaches hold your feet to the fire, so to speak.
Absolutely.
We all hope we're accountable. We want to be accountable. But every person I've talked with that's successful in real estate, and success is many things to many people, um, they always, at some point in time, have used a coach. And literally, for what you said, yes, ideas, yes, follow up, but really accountability. And I am going to say, because I brought it forward today, if you are wondering about a coach, I just picked out a few names. And if you want to jot them down, they are pretty standard across the industry. Brian Buffini. It's been around a long time. He has a huge presence and excellent coaching. Did
One of my
you
favorites.
did you
Yes.
ever use Brian?
Yes, I was actually a facilitator for Brian Buffini's Peak Producers, and I love Brian
Outstanding.
Buffini. He's more about building relationships, and I really believe in that in our business.
Relationships are so important,
Mhm.
and people stay with you if you have a relationship.
Mhm.
And then we have one that's called the Workman Success Series. That's popular. We used to have Mike Ferry, and then Mike Ferry's son, Tom Ferry, moved into the business, equally as strong. And so many agents still enjoy and really like and have seen the success of using Tom Ferry.
Yeah, Tom Ferry's very good.
And then there is ninja selling. And ninja selling is another, and I'm not getting any kind of referral fee on this. Nothing, zero. Just helping our agents that are licensed and planning their goals down the road. And then there's another one that's called strategic coach. I also want to add a little PS to all this. Every single one of them will tell you when you're doing your goal setting, you need to plan 1 to 2%. Start with 1%. 1% of your gross income you should set aside for education.
Absolutely.
And the more you learn, the more you earn. There is no real surprise in that. Then we move into social media. What type of social media do you like?
So I'm a big fan of Facebook just because that's the one that I know the best. Lately, I've gotten into Instagram, LinkedIn, of course. I actually use a company that does all that for me. You have to constantly be posting in order to be relevant, and so it's kind of hard to keep up. So there's great companies out there, and they're not very expensive that will post for you daily and post good information that will draw people to your page.
Exactly. When I mentioned Kimberly earlier, she and I have laughed about the fact maybe, I don't know, I want to say 7, 8 years ago, she was very adamant about Champion School of Real Estate hiring a full-time uh, social media director.
Mhm.
And I was still thinking, we are doing excellent on our own. And she just kept being very adamant about it. And I said, okay, let's try it. Awesome decision.
Oh, absolutely.
For all of those reasons, social media is such a part of everyone's life. We can only do so much as a person. And being able to delegate so that we don't lose track and even lose mileage on what's working for us on the marketing side. So finding someone that can keep that up for us is great. But again, I want to tell our new people, I personally started out doing every single thing myself. And you can do that. What you have as new in the industry, whatever that industry is. In mine, it was real estate education, and yours, real estate brokerage. You have a lot of time starting out. So just you are the it for everything, and you can do the it for everything, and then start appropriating funds to help yourself out.
Exactly. Yeah.
What was your most satisfying transaction?
Oh, I've had a lot of them. I think the most satisfying that really comes to mind was I had a couple that, they were, probably in their 50s, and they had never owned their own home, and it was their dream to own their own home, and so I helped them through that process, and when it was shaky, and there were situations that kept coming up, with the loan and with different things, and when we finally got to that closing table and just like, I get goosebumps just talking about it because, they cried. They were so happy that they finally owned their own home, and I was a part of that, so
You
that's what
probably
it's about.
cried right along with
Yeah,
them.
I did, I
What a
did.
big
It was
moment to be
amazing.
at that point in your life
Yeah,
and truly have that dream come true.
yeah.
And that's another amazing thing about being in real estate, being your own boss, being an entrepreneur. You get to see so many of those life experiences happen to people because you made it happen.
Mhm.
You absolutely brought them to where their family's happier, they're in a place they wanna be, they're so excited, and they look to a B. Flores and say, "Thank you,
Mhm,
you made this happen."
mhm.
It is so fulfilling.
It is, it's very gratifying, and, I feel that and I tell my students this and I tell my agents this. To be in this business and be successful, you have to be passionate about it. You have to love what you do, but you have to love helping people. And if you do that, it shows and they're going to be grateful. They're going to send referrals to you. I still talk to them. I've sold their
Mhm.
family homes, so it's very rewarding. It's 10 times what you put into it. You're going to get back. So
So, not to go into any negativity, and certainly not to make it where a buyer or seller might identify themselves, but can you give us an example of maybe a difficult transaction that you worked on that came together so that it's a true picture of the business that our new people are going into?
So difficult transactions are quite common. And a lot of times it has to do with personalities, the buyer and the seller. And so there's a lot of different obstacles that can come into play in a real estate transaction. And I feel that the way to conquer it is to make it seamless for your client. And the first step is to educating your client, whether it be a buyer or a seller, from the very beginning on what they can expect, how that transaction is going to proceed, and also talk about those hiccups that can come up along the way. And sometimes we're counselors. We're like marriage counselors at some point, right? Where we have to counsel them and hold their hand and kind of bring them down off the cliff. And I think that if you're able to keep your cool
Mhm.
and you're able to work well with the other agent, be professional, not let the issues between the clients get in the way and emotions get in the way, it's going to turn out to be a good transaction for everybody.
She's really soft selling all this.
All these gray hairs are from those transactions.
There are so many memories of spouses in the car arguing over which house they like the best. Um, One particular, thought that comes to mind was, one of the spouses having a breakdown in the living room, and, I'm trying to keep it all together, and then at the same time, there will be the children running around and even, wanting to color in the back seat of your car, on your car. It is so challenging. It is so much fun. And yes, you are almost a marriage counselor during this time period when people are looking for their dream home. And you're also involved in that very serious conversation with the sellers, what price to sell, list their home. And then also you have to talk to the sellers about staging. getting the house ready to put on the market.
Mhm.
And maybe one of them is a pack rat. Maybe one of them, they've been told by the other significant other, put your stuff away, be more organized. And now you, the professional, come in and you have to make those statements.
Mhm.
And sometimes you hear from the other spouse, I told you so.
Right.
And you are the mediator, but you still have to do your job in order to get that house sold
Mm.
timely. And we have courses for that, as B knows. We have our staging course, our luxury home course. The staging course really talks about those conversations, how to
Mhm.
have those conversations. And all of our designation courses, ABR, and the new home construction accredited buyer, all of those are to help you have self confidence so you can have those conversations. So, an agent that stays in the business a long time could truly write a book. and, and many of those stories would be unbelievable,
Mhm.
but that's what makes it so much fun.
Exactly.
So, what does B Flores like to do for fun? What is your relaxation mode?
Well, I've been told I'm a workaholic. So
And that's a good
and
thing.
yes, I think just spending time with my family, shopping. I like to shop. It just makes me feel good.
Uh-huh.
Traveling is fun. So things like that are things that I like to do.
I see some cute pictures of you and your family on the beach. I can tell you like to
We love
relax on the
beach. We
beach.
love the beach.
And it's so funny because shopping. Shopping is truly a no brain walk around, relax. You're not thinking of stressful moments. And if you are, the more you look around just leisurely in a different mode, it really is very
It
relaxing.
is.
In fact, smart authors that write books about how to relax. Yes, for many people, it is just aimless, not pressure shopping for, holiday gifts and
Mhm,
stuff, but just aimlessly walking around and just giving yourself a break
mhm, mhm,
because everyone needs a break. We know that we have the personal, the business, the mental, spiritual, need to keep all of that little footstool even. And so taking time away is a good thing. But I am going to follow up on one other statement. You said you've been called a workaholic. In today's world, to be able to have someone notice how very focused you are on your business and the time you put in is excellent because by putting the time in, the good time, the focused time, the strategic time, it's not a guessing game. You will be successful.
mhm,
If you're spending most of your time out leisurely, just relaxing, you're going to get that result.
mhm.
And I've had so many of our top producers say that the first year, tell your family, you're not going to see dad for a while. You're not going to see mom because I'm really trying to build this business so that now I have more flexible hours with
Mhm.
the family.
Exactly.
So, those kind of conversations are so important. And I actually meant that when I said, congratulations. It means you're really working in your business. And that's why it's going to continue to grow.
Yeah, and I tell my students that and I tell my agents that, a lot of people get in this business because they want the freedom. And freedom is great, but you have to be self-disciplined, you have to have work ethic, and you have to put time into your business because like Rita just said, if you're putting time into it, then later on you're going to be able to spend more time with your family and have that freedom. But at the beginning, every business takes a lot of work.
And
And
that's
it's not easy.
a great springboard. What is a day in the life of B. Flores like? And also for our new agents watching and listening, What beginning activities do you recommend they do to jumpstart their business?
Okay. So a day in the life, I'm up around 5 or 5:30. I'm probably at the office around 7. Well, I try to get there around 7:30. Sometimes it's more like 8. And the first thing I do is answer my emails. I go through all my emails and make sure that I'm responding to everyone. I go into my CRM and see what tasks that I have to do that day. I make my phone calls. I work with an institutional buyer, and so therefore I have to pull properties every day in
Now,
3 markets.
what's an institutional buyer
So
for
a
new
hedge
people?
fund. So, basically, this is a buyer that buys property. It's an investment group, and they buy properties for rental portfolios. And so, I pull MLS daily for Houston, Dallas, and San Antonio, and I'm pulling all the properties that just came up that meet their criteria. And then I run numbers to see which ones we want to make offers on and send them to them. And so that's part of my day. Sometimes, like this week, I leave the office around 4 and I come to Champions because I have a class. And
I love how she smiled with that.
it really, people ask me why I teach, and it really fuels my soul. Um, it makes me better at my game because I'm constantly, every time I teach, I'm learning myself, and it keeps me on my toes, and I get to meet amazing people that are getting into the business, and when they're talking about or they're learning and they're asking questions, it makes me feel good that they're getting it. Like, when I see that they're getting it, it's just
So
it's a good
exciting.
feeling.
You see
It's a
it in
good
their
feeling.
face.
Yeah. Yeah, and so that's very gratifying to me. So yeah, I try to teach a couple of classes a month, to be able to do that.
So I'm a brand new person starting my real estate career. Tell me what to do to get started
Network.
and
Joy.
explain network very,
Yes.
very, very basically.
So that's kind of how I started. I joined different networking groups like your Chamber of Commerce, in your local area. BNI groups are also very good. Basically, they're places where you can go meet people and you are going to promote your business. You're going to meet other business people that are there promoting their business as well. So it's not as intimidating, and you're building those relationships, and you can refer business to each other. That's a great opportunity. Definitely, I always tell students your first 2 years, you have to take your SAE classes before the end of your 2 years. Don't wait until it's time to take your class. I mean, to renew your
You can take
license.
them anytime.
Start right away. I always recommend Powerhouse. Powerhouse training is a great way to get you started. It kind of gives you
It's my
the
favorite.
steps. Yeah, I love
Mhm.
that class. And it kind of gives you the steps to get started and get yourself in the business and making money quickly, which is our goal. And put yourself out there. Do something every day. Preview property. I believe previewing is so important. You go visit properties that are in your market area. Preview at least 5 houses a day in the same neighborhood. It's not hard to do, and that makes you an expert in your market. And I think that those are the things that you have to do consistently to be able to be successful.
It moves you into being more of an expert at the very beginning so that when you get that first phone call, you are ready to go.
Mhm.
You've seen some houses in the neighborhood that you want to specialize in. We call that farming.
Mhm.
And even for middle of the road agents that need extra help, I regularly, our teachers regularly get questions from experienced agents saying, I feel like I'm just kind of stuck. My reply, go back to the basics.
Mhm.
Go back to the basics. Work your friends, your family that know you, love you, past clients that know you, love you. Always, and it sounds so simplistic, but wear your name badge. Wherever you are, it still works. I wear my Champion School of Real Estate name badge, and people don't read. They think I'm in real estate. And right away, wherever I am, they start asking, how's the market? And of course, Dr. Gaines will tell us how that market is on our podcast tomorrow. but it's a conversation opener and then previewing. Let our students know, what are they learning when they preview a house?
So, when you're previewing the house, you're learning about what is being offered in that neighborhood, what the common homes in that neighborhood have. Do most of the homes in that neighborhood have a game room? Are the floors wood? Are they tile? Are the countertops granite? What is it that those homes have? You're also learning about each home, or how many homes there are, how many days those homes have been on the market, all of those things, because when you're talking to a buyer or a seller that are in that neighborhood, you don't even have to look at the MLS. You already can spit out all that information because you know it. And so, since you know it, you are now the expert. Why would they hire someone who has to go look it up on their computer when you can just tell them everything about that neighborhood because you've been there? I like to tell my agents, you've seen it, you've touched it. Hopefully, you didn't smell it, right?
Right.
But it makes you an expert, and it also gives you confidence. When you're new, I think that kind of hinders us, is not having the confidence, and that's going to help you do that.
There are many basic things that right now a new person needs to be learning. They need to be learning the areas within your territory, whether it's Dallas, Fort Worth, Austin, San Antonio, Houston, the Valley, El Paso, Panhandle. Know your area. And then, as B said, go look at those homes that are listed for sale. You will call the listing agent company or the servicing company and tell them you're previewing.
Mhm.
It's right out there. They often will ask you for feedback after you've previewed. They assume that you're just getting market data, which you are. But there's another little trick that I want you to be aware of when you're previewing, and I want you to look at the construction. I want you to know what granite looks like, what quartz looks like, wood floors, porcelain floors. I want you to be so comfortable with different types of finishes because you're walking through a house, and very often the buyer is going to look to you and ask you, "Oh, is this quartz?"
Mhm.
There's your sophisticated buyer, or at least a buyer that's aware of what they're looking at. You want to know the answer to that. And another great place to understand all of that, go to Home Depot, go to Lowe's, look around at construction pieces of material. Because when you walk into a house and you actually know what you're looking at, again, you may be brand new, but you come across as an experienced person because you know what you're talking about.
Mhm.
But again, if you don't know the answer, you'll find out. And you can always say, well, it looks similar to that. I'll find out for sure.
Mhm.
But get your homework completed. Become the expert in the area. Know the particular industry that you're going into. So, speaking of our industry, we have disruptors in our industry. Disruptors are different companies, processes that are just a little different. What disruptors do you see, B, right now that have changed things? And how do you deal with disruptors?
I think the iBuyers are, kind of challenging. I believe that, the internet is wonderful, but it has given so many tools for people that a lot of times buyers don't, and even sellers feel like they can do it on their own, that they don't really need the real estate agent. But I don't think that there is a substitution for the human element. I think that it's still going to always boil down to having that person that is going to hold your hand through the process, that's going to educate you in the process, that's going to make the transaction seamless for you. I think that's really important. And so, when these disruptors started coming up, especially for me, it was the iBuyer platform.
Uh,
I was nervous. I was like, "Oh my gosh, what's going to happen?"
fear again.
And
Mhm.
honestly, it hasn't affected me because I keep doing my business the same way, where it's all about educating the consumer, being their cheerleader, being there for them every step, making the transaction seamless. And, I think that the disruptors are going to come and go, but it's what you do with your business that's going to matter.
Exactly. And you've hit on a number of themes that make us just more valuable.
Mhm.
And disruptors, oh my goodness, they have come, they have gone, they have come, they have gone. Some have stayed and made our industry better,
Mhm.
and others because they maybe weren't the right marketplace tool. They take care of themselves.
Exactly.
Looking back on your 17-year career, starting out in the business, is there anything from today's world that you've learned that you wish you knew when you were a brand new agent that you might have done your business differently?
I think just learning the business, using all the tools that are available to you, obviously educating yourself, not just on the traditional part of real estate because times have changed and there's all kinds of different buyers and seller platforms out there now, or individuals that you're going to be dealing with, or types of transactions that getting yourself informed and educating yourself and spending the time blocking. That was one thing that I didn't do in my business, and now I do religiously. That I wish I would have done that, and to treat your business like a business. Because
That's my favorite.
when I started, I came from working for someone else, and so I had a schedule, I had to do things, but
Mhm.
when I got into the business, all of a sudden, I didn't have anything, and I spent a lot of time doing, running errands, doing things that weren't making me money,
Mhm.
and so, I believe that if you treat your business like a business, you work it every day, not just an hour a day, but work a full day like you would if you worked for someone else, there's no way you can't be successful.
That's great
Mhm.
advice and a great way to end our wonderful interview today. I so thank you for being here
Thank
today.
you for inviting me.
You have given us wonderful words of wisdom, and they're not just words of wisdom, those are actions that you fulfill every day in your business. The one thing that I truly said like an amen on was work your business like a business, have a plan. In 30 Days to Success, I start you out with a business plan where you must do your budget to know, well, what do I need just to pay my bills, much less to go on a family vacation. But to work your business like a business, stay focused. The main factor that I've noticed that I love to tell our new agents getting in, don't give up.
Exactly.
If you're starting any business, it's going to take a few years to get it established.
Mhm.
So if you're not at the top of the leaderboard the first year, you shouldn't be really at the top of the leaderboard in that that's not realistic. If you are, congratulations, you're doing awesome things. And yes, I've interviewed people that have been at the top of the leaderboard their first year. In fact, go back to YouTube months before and you'll see and hear one of those gentlemen from Austin. But that's not typical.
Mhm.
We have to grow our business to be successful and don't give up. We have our podcast tomorrow, Dr. Gaines, Real Estate Superstars Today is the name of our Champion School of Real Estate podcast. And please subscribe to our podcast. This afternoon, we'll have our wonderful interview with B. Flores with the Lux Living Group. And I know they'll want to watch you again, take down additional ideas to use to be successful. And next month, on November the 16th, I have DonnaSellsAustin.com. And Donna Andruck, one of our Champions graduates, is at the top of her leaderboard in the Austin area. And you know what I love, B? Our students that we interview, like yourself, you're always a student, you know. You'll be a top broker, you'll be a lead instructor, but you're still always a student. I love that you come in and you share what you do and what you've done to be successful. And all we have to do is take the notes and do it. Just do it. Put it in practice. So thank you, students, for all of your business. Without your business, we don't have one. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And so do our managers, so do our teachers, so do our career counselors. And whether you take Champion School of Real Estate classes online, brick and mortar classrooms, live virtual classroom, we so appreciate your business. Thanks so much and see you next month. Bye-bye.